Okay, so going over these word problems that we went over in class. All right, so these are all y equals mx plus b word problems. All of these, for the most part, on this front page, these first six are pretty easy and straightforward. All right, so you need to make sure, once again, okay, you need to follow this formula. Okay, the rate gets plugged in for the m, the initial or starting value gets plugged in for the b, and the total for the y. All right, so the first one says Xavier has a lunch food budget, okay, of $120 per month. He spends an average of $6 per day on a lunch. All right, write a function that represents, okay? And then it basically tells you your label, okay? So we can go ahead and write the labels down because we always want to do labels. X is in days. And if you've watched any of the previous videos that I've done or been in my class, you know that majority of the time when money is involved, that generally is your Y. All right? It just so happens that it works out that way most of the time. All right? So it says he spends $6 per day. So that's going to be our rate. All right? The budget is $120. I know it says per month, but that's the total food budget, okay, or the original budget. So that's what our equation is going to be. Now, he spends an average of $6 per day. So if he spends $6 a day, then that's going to be negative. Okay, and actually, I'm going to scoot this over just a little bit. So that means it's a negative 6 because he's spending $6 per day. Now, the question says, how much money is left in Xavier's account after 7 days? All right, so after 7 what? 7 days. So obviously, we're going to plug in for the label that it matches. So we'll say negative 6, okay, times 7, and then plus 120. So that's negative 42 plus 120. And your answer is y equals $78. All right, number 2. It says Pearson's Pet Palace has an 85-gallon fish tank. When it needs to be cleaned, it can be drained at a rate of 4 gallons per minute. Okay, so once again, we have our rate is 4 gallons per minute, and it's drained, meaning it's going down. So negative 4x. It starts at 85 gallons. So now we have our equation. Now we do our labels. So 4 gallons per what? Per minute. So x is going to be in minutes. And again, 85 is your y-intercept. You're looking for your y label. 85 what? 85 gallon. Okay? So that's the word that's associated with 85. So this is going to be in gallons. Now that we've got our labels, now that we've got our equation, now you can do the problem. Any problem that it wants. It says, how long was the tank? How long has the tank been draining if it has 33 gallons left? 33 gallons, okay? Gallons is our Y label, so we're actually going to plug in for the Y label this time. So we're going to plug in 33 equals negative 4x plus 85 and solve for x. So subtract 85, all right, and then we get negative 52 equals negative 4x, divide by negative 4, negative over negative is a positive, and how long has it been draining? X equals 13 minutes because our x label is in minutes. All right, number 3. It says you're saving money to buy a stereo system. You have saved $50 so far. You plan to save $20 each week for the next few months. write a function that represents how much money you have after X weeks. So it actually tells you that X is weeks, which means that obviously Y is in dollars or money. Okay? Now, it says that you have saved $50 so far to begin with, and then you plan to save $20 each week. So 20 is going to be your rate. You originally saved 50, so there's your equation. All right? So again, pretty simple. So now what we have to do is we have to solve for the question, because once you've got the labels, once you've got the equation, you can solve for any question that it asks for. All right, so it says, how much money do you have saved after 1 year? All right, now, this problem presents a little bit of an issue in that you might have to look up this question. This is 1 year. If you look at your labels, okay, you don't have a label that's a year, but you do have a label, okay, that is associated with years, all right, in weeks. So you need to know how many weeks are in a year, all right? Well, roughly about 52 weeks total, and you can Google it if you want, total are in a year. So we plug in 52 weeks, okay, for 1 year, in for X, because that's the label that it's gonna be associated with. So we've got 20 times 52, okay, which is 1,040 plus 50. So our answer, $1,090. All right, number 4. It says your family spends $80 for tickets to a baseball game and $3 per hour for parking. Well, this one's easy, okay? So $3 per hour, that's your rate. They spend $80, okay? And then it says write a function that gives the total cost of your family's outing to the baseball game after X hours. So it actually tells you that X is in hours. And then obviously for the Y label, it's going to be in dollars. All right. So now that we've got our equation, now that we've got our labels, we can answer any question that it asks. How much does a baseball outing cost if you were there for 7 hours? Obviously that matches our X label. So we're going to plug in 7 right here. 7 times 3 is 21. Plus 80, it's going to cost $101. All right, number 5. Number 5, it says, Diamond recently bought a car for $34. Okay, her research shows the car will depreciate, meaning that word means go down. Okay, so that's a big one. It will depreciate at an average of $1,200 per year. If X represents the number of years, so again, it tells us the X label, and then we are dealing with money, so obviously that's going to be our Y label. Okay, so now we're ready to write the equation. All right, so she bought a car for $34,000 originally. Pretty expensive car, pretty nice one. All right. It says that it depreciates at an average of $1,200 per year. So that $1,200 is our rate, and it's negative, okay, because it depreciates. And then she originally paid $34,000. All right. Now, it says, how long has Diamond owned the car if the value is $28,000? $28,000. My Y label is dollars, so I'm actually going to plug in for my Y label. So $28,000 thousand equals negative 1200x plus 34,000. So I'm going to subtract 34,000. That's now gone. That's negative 6,000 equals negative 1,200. Divide by negative 1,200. Negative over negative is a positive. All right, and your final answer is x, and I'll write it over here because I'm running out of room. X equals 5 years. That's how long she's owned the car. 5 years. All right, number 6 says the initial fee to have a website set up is $60. Well, that spells it out right there. That's your initial cost. It costs $44 per month. So we can write the equation right off the bat. It literally tells us, here's our rate, and then here's our initial value. Really simple. Now we need our labels. $44 per what? So this is in months because it's per month. And then Y, again, just happens to be our Y label, meaning Y is $. So now that we've got our equation, now that we've got our labels, we can answer the question. How long can you maintain the website if you have $940? $940, Y is in dollars, so we're going to plug it in for Y. So 940 equals 44x plus 60. So subtract 60. Okay, that's going to be 880 equals 44x. Divide by 44. And your final answer is x equals 20 months because that is your X label. And that should answer the first page of this. Pretty simple. They all work about the exact same way. All right, now this next page is actually where you kind of get into some different types of problems. All right, so this page, if you're confused about some stuff, should clear some stuff up. All right, it says your gym membership costs $33 per month after an initial fee. Okay, so this question is a little vague in how it asks it. Okay, so I'm going to answer the final question 2 different ways. That way it's understood either way that you could ask it. So it says your gym membership costs $33 per month after an initial fee. You pay $228 total dollars after 6 months. Now, okay, here's the key. It says you paid a total of $228. All right. So if you paid a total of $228, okay, in writing the equation, that actually goes in right here for the total. All right. The rate is $33 per month. Okay. Now what we don't have is the initial cost. All right. So when writing our actual equation, what we really need now is we need the initial cost. Okay. Well, we don't have that, so we need to solve for it. All right. We've got the rate, $33 per month, and then our labels, $33 per what? Per month, which means Y is in dollars. So we got our label, okay? What we don't have is one thing right here for our equation to answer the question, all right? So we need to find it, and this is how we find it. So on this right here, it says the total was after 6 months. Okay, so if months is X, then I can actually plug that in right here for X. Okay, and I can actually solve for my initial cost. All right, So 33 times that is 198 plus B equals 228. So subtract 198. My answer for my initial cost is 30. So my initial cost or my initial payment was $30. All right. So now coming to the question, okay, it says, and I don't know why they ask like after 6 months, because it's almost repeating the exact same question that you've already solved for. All right. So it says, how much will it cost to have a gym membership for 6 months? Now, with a fee or without a fee, okay? That's kind of, because with a fee, it's just the same amount that it already told. It literally tells you in the it tells you in the problem, okay? $228 total for 6 months. I don't know why it would ask that for the question. It's kind of dumb, all right? So what I'm going to give you is I'm going to give you the answer of the cost, okay, for 6 months with and without the fee, all right? So obviously, if you plugged in the 6 right here, we just did that, all right? So 33, it's $198, all right? So $198, okay, without the fee. It's 200 and then obviously if you add the 30, it's $228 with the fee. All right, so like I said, I don't know why they asked that question. It's kind of a dumb question if you ask me, all right? But I'm going to answer it in both of those different ways, all right? So, now if they asked you, like, what is the specific initial membership fee, okay, if they ask for that, okay, initial membership fee, then obviously that's right here. That's $30, all right? So you can ask several different questions on this. Hopefully that answers every single one of them, all right? Number 8, it says an editor collects $2,890 raise each year. Her 8th year, she is making $27,400 per year, okay? Write a function that represents her income after X years. So it actually tells you, okay, that the X label is in years. So obviously the Y is going to be in dollars. Now, writing the equation, do not get this fooled, all right? So she gets a raise each year. She's making $27,400. Okay, I know it says per year, but they're just trying to throw you off, all right, on this one. Okay, that is her base salary, okay, in her 8th year. That's where this whole entire problem is starting. It's starting in her 8th year because it says in her 8th year, she's making this much money per year. Well, duh, okay, that's the amount of money that she's currently making. So her raise is the rate, and the amount of money that she's currently making is your initial value. Now that we've got our label, now that we've got our equation, we can answer the question. It says, what is the editor's income after 20 years? Now, obviously we're going to plug in for X, but you got to be careful, okay? Because if you just plug in 20 right here, it's going to be off, all right? Because she's starting in her 8th year, all right? So she's already 8 years into this, okay? So what's the difference between 12 years, okay, and 20 years? I just told you the answer. I hate it when I do that. What's the difference between 8 years and 20 years? 12 years, okay? So for the next 12 years, okay, she's going to get this amount of raise starting in her 8th year at 27,400. So 12 is actually the number that you're going to plug in here, because that's going to be how many years it's going to be to 20. And then plus 27,400 where she's currently at. So once you plug that in, okay, do the math, she'll be making $62,080 at her 20 years. That can be a little tricky. If you plugged in 20, then you're going to get a big, massive amount, okay? You just got to know that this problem starts in her 8th year, okay? And it wants to know what her income is after 20. Well, that's just a 12-year difference from where we're at, all right? So now, number 9, now that we've kind of gone over a problem like this, number 9 isn't going to fool you. So on number 9, it says a tomato plant grows approximately 1.3 centimeters per day. On the 9th day, the plant is approximately 21.7 centimeters tall. So obviously the rate is 1.3. And then the initial centimeters, or the initial height, is going to be 21.7. But keep this in mind, okay? We're starting on the 9th day. So this problem takes place in the beginning on the 9th day. All right? So now that we've got our equation, now we've got our labels, okay, or we need our labels. So it tells you at the end of this problem that x is in days, which means that we're looking for our y-intercept, 21.7. 21.7 what? Centimeters. All right, so that's our Y label. Now that we've got our labels, now that we can plug in. It says, how tall is the tomato plant after 10 days? All right, so again, you got to realize that this problem starts on the 9th day. This is where we're at on the 9th day. So, meaning, what's the difference between 9 days and 10 days? Well, 1 day. All right? So that's what you should plug in right here. 1.3 times 1 is 1.3 plus 21.7. So your answer is y equals 23 centimeters. All right, number 10. It says 4 years after a maple tree was planted, its height was 9 feet. 8 years after it was planted, the maple tree was 12 feet. Now, this kind of goes back to a couple problems I worked on a previous couple videos, okay? It gives you 4 numbers. 4 years, okay, 9 feet. 8 years, 12 feet. And the 4 numbers are in sets of pairs. 4 years, 9 feet. 8 years, 12 feet. So when you see that you've got 4 numbers and they are in pairs like this, meaning in pairs of labels, then you need 3 different things. Okay, you need 2 of these, you need a slope, and then you need the point slope setup. All right? So, it tells you on your labels that X is in years, okay? And then the Y. So, I mean, look at your labels. 4 years, 9 what? So, Y is going to have to be in feet. All right? So, remember, this is X, this is Y, that's X, that's Y. If it wants X in years, so 4 years, 9 feet. 8 years, 12 feet. Now all we have to do is find the rate, okay? That's the next step. So drop your Y's down on top, 9, 12, X's down on bottom, exactly the way that they look. So -3 over -4. Negative over negative is a positive. So 3 over 4, and remember, it's y over x, 3 feet every 4 years. All right? So let's box that in, okay, because that's our rate, so 3/4. So we're going to come over here, and we're going to plug in 3/4. And then I'm going to choose one of my 2 points to plug in. I'm going to go with this one because it's the smaller numbers. X by the x, y by the y, and then solve, meaning you're going to distribute. So 3 over 4 times x is 3 over 4x. 3 over 4 times negative 4 is negative 3. Drop this down. Add the 9 to the other side. Y equals 3 over 4x plus 6. So there's my equation. And now I can answer any of my questions. What is the growth rate of the maple tree? 3/4 is the rate, and we've actually already written it down. The growth rate is 3 feet, okay, every 4 years. All right? And then it says, what was the height of the plant? What was the height when it was planted? Meaning, what was the original or quote-unquote initial height? Well, where is your initial value always? Right there, okay? So that's why we actually do the equation like we do it, because the answers are going to be in the equation. So what was the original or initial height when it was planted? Okay, 6. Well, 6 what? Okay, 6 feet was the height. All right. Number 11, it says, in bicycle moto crossing, and it probably should say motor crossing. I didn't write this, didn't make it. Okay, I'm just assuming. I don't know what moto crossing is, so I'm gonna assume it's motor crossing. All right, in bicycle motor crossing, BMX. All right, racing. Racers purchase a 1-year membership to a track. They also pay an entry fee for each race at that track. One racer paid a total of $125 for 5 races. Another racer paid a total of $170 for 8 races. Write a function that represents the total cost of a race after X races. So it tells you that X is races and Y obviously is going to be in dollars because money's involved. Now, again, you've got 4 numbers, $125, 5 races. $170, 8 races. So again, you've got 4 numbers associated in pairs. So once again, you're going to need 2 parentheses. You're going to need a slope and a point slope. All right. So if X is races and Y is dollars, the first one is 5 races for $125. The second one is 8 races for $170. So in order to find the rate, drop your Y's down on top. Your X's down on bottom. All right, so 125 minus 170, that's negative 45. And then over negative 3, negative over negative is a positive. So that's 15 over 1. So remember, it's Y over X, so $15 for every 1 race. And we're going to plug that 15. You don't have to put 15 over 1. You can just put 15 here. We're going to plug that in the middle, and then we're going to choose a point. And again, I'm going to go with these smaller numbers. So X by the X, so that's 5. Y by the Y, that's 125. And then solve just to make sure that you don't have or you do have an initial fee. So 15 times x is 15x. 15 times negative 5 is negative 75. Drop this down. Add this over, and you can clearly see that you're going to have an initial fee. So y equals 15x plus 50. So there's your equation. It says, how much does the track membership cost? Okay, so the membership, remember, is the initial fee. So that's $50. All right. What is the entry fee per race? Well, we just figured it on the left. $15 for one race, so $15 is the rate per race. All right, last one. Okay, number 12, it says you use a garden hose to fill a swimming pool at a constant rate. The pool is empty when you begin to fill it. The pool contains 15 gallons of water after 5 minutes. 30 minutes, okay, the pool contains 90 gallons of water. Write a function that represents the volume in gallons of water in the pool after X minutes. So it tells you that X is in minutes. And I think you can assume, okay, that Y is probably going to be in gallons, since that's kind of what it's talking about. All right. Now, looking at this right here, again, you've got 15 gallons, 5 minutes, 90 gallons, 30 minutes. Again, 4 numbers associated in pairs. So once again, you're going to need two parentheses, slope formula, and point slope formula. All right? So if X is in minutes and Y is in gallons, 5 minutes for 15 gallons. And then 30 minutes for 90 gallons. And now we drop the Y's down on top. The X's down on bottom. Whoops, that's 5, not 15. So 5 and then 30. So what we've got is negative 75 over negative 25. So negative over negative is a positive. Okay, so that would be 3 over 1, technically. So we've got 3 gallons for every 1 minute. So 3 over 1, we don't have to put the over 1. We'll just put 3 right here. All right. And then choose our point. I'm going to go with the smaller numbers. So X by the X, Y by the Y. Distribute. That would be 3X minus 15. Y minus 15, add 15 over. And this actually proves what it said in the beginning. In the beginning, it said the pool is empty. What's the initial value? 0. So that actually proves, okay, mathematically, that yes, the pool is actually empty to start out with. Now, obviously, the question says, what is the volume of the pool after 1 hour? Okay, so you don't have hours in your labels, but you do have something that's associated with an hour, okay? So we all know that there are 60 minutes in an hour, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to plug in 60 minutes because that's 1 hour, all right? And that gives us 180 gallons. Because we're solving for Y label is in gallons. So 180 gallons is our answer. Hopefully that helps clear up how to do these word problems. Hopefully anybody that watched this video understands now how to do these different types of word problems. And